So, good morning. I thought I would take a few minutes here Sunday morning and kind of start a series to help you understand a little more about what we're talking about when we're developing imaging as we work with grinders and transforming them into rainmakers. When I have taught my system before called Rubicon, and those that graduated started as Mavericks and ended up as Pathfinders. One of the key things that I taught from all my background in philosophy, so forth, there was a great saying, you've seen me quote it a lot, but it was actually authored by Socrates, but it's most known for, I think, by Aristotle because of what he taught Alexander and the great impact that seeding of this concept called be what you wish to seem, what it actually did for him as far as making him one of the most well-known people in history. What happens is each person is actually living a drama, and you're basically following a story, a script, a narrative. And a lot of times that narrative, even though you think it is something that you've created yourself, it's actually been adopted from kind of a hodgepodge of things that you were given, little mini scripts that you were handed over life that you've unconsciously adopted. And those are scripts from everything from your parents to teachers, to college instructors, to ministers, priests, and many times by those that we are working to be accepted by, called peers. Peers have the greatest influence on us on basically unconsciously forcing us to live a narrative in a way that allows us to be accepted by them. If you remember when you were taking psychology, probably 101 or 201, you studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And one of the key things that we look for beyond safety and survival is acceptance. So what we're doing is we're constantly, unconsciously conforming our lives to talk in such a way, to use a certain vocabulary, to watch certain things, listen to certain music, dress a certain way, obviously. The fashion industry depends on that. But all of those things that we're doing many times are not coming from what we generally are or who we are, but from what we believe we need to be in order to be accepted by a group of people that we have some level of respect, admiration, or desire to be accepted by. So, be what you wish to seem is a mandate or a directive, if you will, that is saying, find out what you want to be, find out what's important to you, find out what your values are, your morals, your ethics, and that sometimes takes a little time. It's not something that happens overnight. But more than that, or maybe along with that, you want to find out what is it that you want to do? What is it that drives you? What is it that makes you happy? And stop living your life in this narrative of this constant drama of worrying about what other people think and what other people are doing, whether someone else likes what you said or doesn't like what you did, doesn't like what the way you combed your hair, or the fashion that you wore, or the car that you drive, or where you live. Start living more real, more authentic, and I think that comes from a place called genuine. So be what you wish to seem is about you starting to write your script for the play called reality, the one that you're already starring in, but you're unconsciously following other people's scripts, and you've never taken time to stop and think about, what do you want? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be now, and who are you becoming in the future? And what are you doing as far as developing that person to be something that is worthy, something that what I usually teach has an ultimate end, as something that is 10 words or less that goes on a thing called our gravestone. The thing that is inevitable, like death and taxes, is what's going to end up on that piece of granite that other people say about you, those people that are around you the most. And that becomes an interesting perspective if you think about that. It's not really meant to be morbid. It's more or less designed to say, hey, how do I want this story to end? Since it is a story, since I am now aware that I get to write the script, since I want to get out of this drama, of this narrative of worrying about what other people and what my ex did and what the other people at work said and what the people at XYZ club or church or whatever. It just drives me nuts when I constantly hear that, and I have to disconnect those people from Facebook and other types of connections because they're just living in this. It feels like spinning their tires, and it's nauseating. And I don't understand why other people don't get out of the drama, and their answer is they're don't have anything else better to do. And that's the thing where they feel that level of pop. They feel that level of engagement. And the problem is the engagement is in a really poorly written story by a bunch of people that don't have anything else better to do. So my challenge to you here Sunday morning is, number one, start figuring out what groups are you part of, what social media feeds are you on that are connected to people that are living unconsciously incompetent. And that is a majority of people. So when not saying anything bad per se, not trying to be judgmental per se, but when you look at it, you just look at, they're constantly in some type of narrative. There's always some type of negative victimization, and you don't need that. You're trying to become something better, trying to become something worthy, trying to live a life that has a value that is worth being stenciled or chiseled into a piece of granite at some point in the future. So when you think about that, you don't have time for those other people. Let them go their own way. It's not your responsibility to save them either. It's their responsibility to wake up like you're kind of waking up, and to take that responsibility and start writing the script that you want with the ending that you choose. So that's my Sunday morning. Hope you're having a great one yourself. Love the feedback, and talk to you soon.